Hey everyone, I'm Justin with AmericanMuscle.com, and today we're taking a closer look at and installing the K&N Series 69 Typhoon intake, available here for your 2016 and newer Camaro SS. Now, you guys should be checking out the Series 69 if you'd like to go with one of the most trusted names in aftermarket filtration to help add a little flash of chrome under the hood, along with a no tune required system to ultimately increase the power and sound coming from your 6.2 powered ride. Big features here with the K&N will come down to both appearance and functionality. Now, from a functionality standpoint, the K&N is designed to be more efficient and outflow that factory airbox and panel filter design. The result of this will be a subtle bump in power. In fact, K&N does claim upwards of 16 horsepower with the Series 69 in place and without the use of any custom or can tuning. Now, aside from the power, that free-flowing design or filter will also result in improved throttle response, as witnessed in the customer review section. As always, guys, feel free to check out those reviews before pulling the trigger on this or any intake for that matter. Now, the second big feature with the Series 69 will be the show-stopping appearance of that brightly polished aluminum intake tube. The only intake, by the way, in K&N's rather expansive lineup to deliver this bright finish. Now, moving into construction, and as we just mentioned, this particular kit from K&N, the Series 69, will feature the polished aluminum intake tube in place of the more traditional black aluminum or black plastic options that tend to dominate the category. Now, outside of the tube itself, guys, you are receiving, of course, the signature K&N oiled cotton gauze filter. Now, traditionally, the oiled filters do outflow the dry filters ever so slightly, and they do require very little maintenance overall. But when the time does come to clean everything out, obviously you will need to re-oil this as well, which really isn't terribly difficult as long as you follow K&N's instructions. Now, the K&N does also include the heat shield here, as you can see here, guys. Designed, of course, to help block out any hot engine bay air, along with the included weather stripping right here that will help seal that airbox to the underside of your factory or aftermarket hood. Now, the kit does, of course, include all of your couplers, clamps, hardware, everything you need to make for a very painless install in the garage or driveway, which, by the way, we will cover here in a little bit. Now, finally, guys, the K&N is backed by their signature 10-year or million-mile warranty, just in case you should run into any issues. Price point for the K&N is going to live in the upper tier of the intake category. This particular option coming in at that low to mid $400 price point, and I would say that's thanks largely to the polished aluminum finish. Now, this is a bit higher than some of K&N's more basic options that utilize maybe a more traditional plastic tube, but ultimately, again, if you do want that flash under the hood, the Series 69 here will be one of the only ways to do so. Let's switch gears and talk about the install here, gang, and the site is going to call this a pretty solid 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, taking you about an hour or so to complete from start to finish. But now, what do you say we head out to the shop? Let's check out our detailed walkthrough and tool breakdown.
For this install, you will need an impact, various size ratchets, T20 Torx bit, 8 and 10 millimeter sockets, 3 and 4 millimeter Allen wrenches, a 10 millimeter wrench, and some angle cutters. What's up, guys? Today we're going to be doing an intake on our Camaro, but first we're going to send you to watch a short video on how to remove your factory intake, and we'll see you when you get back.
So our first step is going to be to disconnect our mass airflow sensor. So we have 2 T20 Torx screws that we need to remove, and then we can just slide it right out of our tube. So now we can disconnect our crankcase fitting. So there's going to be a gray tab on the back. You can push in, pop right off like that. And then next, we have to disconnect this one-time use clamp. So we'll have to cut that off and then remove this. All right, now our next step is to loosen our clamp, and we can do that with an 8mm socket, and then we can lift this whole airbox out.
Alrighty guys, welcome back. Now that we've shown you how to remove your factory intake, we have to do some assembly here before we can put our new assembly on the car. So what we're going to do first is grab our heat shield. We have this main opening here that's going to be for our filter adapter as well as our intake tube and mass airflow sensor mounting bracket. So we're going to go ahead and grab that adapter here. We're going to slide that through the opening. Now you notice it has a cutout here. That's where your MAF sensor adapter is going to go. But your heat shield is going to sit in like this, and we want our MAF sensor bracket to face the right way. So we're going to point that up like so. We're also going to line up our mounting holes with the 2 threaded inserts here. So we've got that lined up. We're going to grab our 2 4mm Allen head screws with lock washers and flat washers and go ahead and get those started into our mounting holes. So go ahead and do that now. Go ahead and set that in place. Just get this first one started. Now we can get our second one started. And once we have both of them started, we'll go ahead and grab our 4mm Allen wrench. We'll go ahead and tighten these down. So our next step is going to be to install our dowels that are going to go into our factory rubber grommets where our factory airbox came out of. So we're going to grab our dowels as well as our 10mm bolts with lock washers and flat washers. We'll go ahead and get those started. Now the easiest way to do that is to get your bolt through and hold that in place, and then we can thread our dowel on. Go ahead and get these hand tight for now. We'll do the same thing for this other one here. Then for our third dowel, that's going to mount in here next to our adapter. And what we're going to do is grab our bracket for this one. We'll go ahead and mount the dowel to the bracket, and then we'll mount the bracket to our heat shield. So we're going to want it to face down and out like so. So we'll have that curve like this. So our dowel's going to go, the bolt's going to go through here like so. Our dowel's going to be facing away from that bend. Go ahead and get that started. And we can go ahead and mount our bracket. So we'll grab our longer 10mm bolt with a flat washer. Go ahead and stick that through like so. We'll get our bracket onto that. Then we'll get our flat washer and lock nut on the other side. Now we're just going to leave this loose like it is for now because we'll go ahead and get it mounted in position, then we can tighten this bolt down once it's in position. So now we can go ahead and fully tighten down our dowels. We're going to grab a 10mm socket on our impact, just snug these down. Now we are going to tighten down the dowel to the bracket. Again, we're going to leave the bracket itself loose. Next, we can go ahead and install our weather stripping around the outer edge of our heat shield. So we have a continuous strip here, and this weather stripping does have a little channel at the bottom that is reinforced with metal. It's just going to slot onto our edge of our heat shield here. So we're just going to push that on, set it in place. Make sure you fully seat it. And you just want to be patient with this and work it on. And once you get to the corner here, we're going to go ahead and match the turn on that. And again, this does have a metal insert that will bend to our needs. Go ahead and get that situated. Just keep working it on all the way around. Now once we get to here, we're gonna go ahead and cut this off because we can't go any farther with the dowel bracket here being flush. So we'll go ahead and grab our angle cutters. We're just gonna go ahead and snip this off flush. And cut to get it through. Go ahead and seat that. Next, we can go ahead and grab our intake tube and we're gonna install our PCV fitting. Go ahead and thread that into the bung here. Now this is a tapered plastic fitting. You can use a wrench to tighten this if you choose, but it is designed to tighten itself up and seal. And being plastic, tightening it by hand is going to be just fine. So we'll go ahead and face this up. That's the way that our tube's going to go, and then our PCV fitting will go right on there. So that's nice and snug and sealed. So now we'll go ahead and get our heat shield in place, and we kind of have to hook it around this front mounting dowel here. And once it goes below it, you want to be careful of your mass airflow sensor here. We'll go ahead and drop this in place, line up all of our dowels, and go ahead and get this set in, just like so. Make sure nothing's being pinched. And we can go ahead and set our mass airflow sensor into the new bracket. Now we'll go ahead and get our mass airflow mounting screws installed. So we'll grab our provided 3mm Allen head screws and get those installed. And we'll get this first one started. Before we tighten it down, we'll get the other one in. We're using our 3mm Allen wrench for this. Next, we'll go ahead and tighten down our dowel bracket here with our 10mm wrench and our 10mm socket on our impact. Now we can go ahead and install our filter onto our adapter piece here. Now we've got our clamp on our filter loosely. We'll go ahead and slide that into place. Make sure that's fully seated. Then we'll grab our 8mm socket on our impact and tighten this down. So now we're going to get our intake tube installed. So first we're going to go ahead and put our coupler on our throttle body side. So we've got our clamp on our coupler already. Go ahead and set that in place. Now you want to make sure you leave room for your throttle body to set as well. And we'll go ahead and snug this clamp down with our 8mm socket. And we can also put our coupler for our intake side on. Make sure you don't forget your coupler clamp. Make sure that seats with the bellow in it. We'll go ahead and snug this clamp down as well. Then we can go ahead and put our clamp for our intake coupler on there. And our throttle body clamp will just kind of slide over here. And we're going to go in and line this all up. You want to make sure your clamp goes over this coupler. It is going to be a bit of a tight fit. You may have to move it around a bit. You could even pop this out of its dowels if it's giving you a problem. It should line up. We're going to go ahead and pop this out of its dowels real quick. And this is just going to help us line it up better. And once we have our couplers lined up, we'll go ahead and set this back in its dowels. And you want to make sure your intake tube isn't hitting anything, i.e. your cooling fans. So now we'll go ahead and tighten down our throttle body clamp, as well as our intake. So now we can go ahead and attach our PCV fitting to our PCV setup there. That'll just snap right into place. Then we can go ahead and address this Lastly, we can go ahead and just cap off this fitting with our provided drum cap here. It's just going to pop right over that. And that's just going to sit there as it is. Alrighty guys, that about wraps up our review and install of our K&N Series 69 Typhoon Cold Air Intake for your 16 to 23 Camaro SS. Thanks for watching, and as always, for everything Camaro, keep it right here at AmericanMuscle.com.